Hey guys, we are back, and Emily and Stan are back from Japan, and they are here to share their experience. Now, this is the first time we've had Stan on the Fit Model podcast, who is very much a part of Emily's journey as well. So we're really excited to have you here with us.
Thank you. I'm a big advocate of the Fit Model division too.
Absolutely. And I think that's awesome. It's been cool to see you on Instagram and in the comments kind of defending it. And you have so much perspective, and that's going to be something that we obviously talk about more in the podcast. You know, years of experience in bodybuilding, you know, men's physique Olympia, classic physique Olympia, soon to be bodybuilding Olympia one of these days coming up. I know it will be soon, but tell us about your guys' experience in Japan.
It was incredible. I don't even know where to start. So many things happen in Japan, but I want to stick more with like the prepping and the show. So Stan, just going to Japan itself, he had timers for me on the plane of when to eat and when to kind of stand up and maybe do lunches in the aisles of the airplane. So from just going to Japan, he was on it. And he just has so much experience of traveling, competing internationally multiple times, and this was my first. So having someone like him who knows his way around and who cares for me and wants me to succeed is just more than words can describe. So that was just a huge blessing. And going to Japan was, I think, a little bit tough because we couldn't really read anything. You know, they didn't have egg whites there, so we had to compromise a lot on the different foods. But it was definitely worth it, meeting so many amazing competitors and just being in a whole other culture, a whole other country. It was just an amazing experience.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah, I just want to add that going to Japan, we left only, on Wednesday, and it's 17 hours ahead, so we had a short time frame here to turn around. Luckily, like, conditioning is not the most important thing in Fit Model, so we weren't too worried about that. But one key thing to avoid retaining water on the plane is movement, hydration. So those two things I kept an eye on and make sure she was gaining water at a certain, rhythm every hour, getting a liter in, or at least half a liter.
Yeah.
Making sure she could get some sleep, and then, trying to manage between her resting and making sure she still kept her food in, because we were trying to carb her up at that point.
Absolutely. This was a really fun peak prep show day, because before Emily left, we started a group text with the three of us. So Stan really took over a lot of the communication between Emily and I, because you started getting a little bit in your head. You were also busy, managing everything. It was really cool to have Stan along. And I was thinking about this today because I think a lot of times it's hard for coaches to work with other people, but me and Stan work so well together. Yeah. It was almost like we had worked together long before. I don't know if you felt that way, but we agree on a lot of things, and it was so smooth. And a lot of times I've always said too many cooks in the kitchen's a bad thing, but you bring a lot of value. And I knew we would talk about this before the podcast, so I was kind of trying to think about how and why do we work so well together? It's honestly awesome. And I thought about it, and I said, it's almost unfortunate in bodybuilding that when you get to the top and you compete in bodybuilding, you've already kind of reverse engineered these beginner divisions. I don't want to really demonize any division by calling it beginner, but going from men's physique is more subjective than then going to classic physique, which is a little more subjective to then going to bodybuilding. And I think your experience of going through all three, he really understands how subjective bodybuilding can be. And you've worked with some of the best coaches in the world, and he sees coaching very much like I see coaching. He saw your nighttime photos and you were looking a little better. And that's where sometimes girls feel worse because they're a little bit fuller. And I think women are taught from a really young age to kind of be smaller, but that muscle fullness brings out more detail. And it was cool to see us be in agreement on that, you know.
Because that started with, you didn't even see those pictures. I was telling you, during one of our workout, that I thought she looked really good around, 1:14 at night. And he was like, I never saw any of these pictures. Please send them through, no matter what, how you feel. I just would like to see it. Let's look at them. And when she did, you actually agreed. And then before we actually left, you came to the house and saw her later in the day after having more food in, and you completely agreed that it was the best look she had.
Yeah. It's easy to get a little shy or feel like you're bloated and not want to send something. But yeah, it was definitely a game changer. So I want to thank you for just, one, he was able to keep me in the loop when you couldn't, like when you were on stage and when you got off stage and like how this show timing was running. It was really great to have your assistance. So I want to definitely thank you for that, and just also tell you how much I enjoyed it, because I value your opinion, your experience, because you've got a lot of years in this, and you've been trained by some really great coaches too. Like if you haven't heard of Chris Aceto or Patrick Tor, Stan has worked with all of them. Currently, Dom, who is someone who I look up to, because I really know that Dom is very much health conscious as much as I am, and Dom's one of the leaders in health coaching.
Absolutely.
And one of the reasons you're going to him. So I wanted to shout them out because I really feel like collectively when you get experiences from other coaches, everyone's gonna have their strengths and weaknesses, but like these are the things that kind of build us as competitors and coaches through the process.
Yeah, another thing I would like to add, I think that's important, that can be helpful for other people. It's something that I personally, learned through my experience and started doing. You have to trust your coach, right? You have to trust the eye of your coach and that he's telling you what he thinks is best for you. And when you travel, especially at the end, like when you get out of your elements and you had no really point of reference, it's easy to get in your head and not, start criticizing your look, doubting yourself. So what we did, and something I've done myself before, just recording the check-ins and sending them without looking at them. So I would record her check-in and sending them to you without her looking at them. So she would just, I know they have my best interest in mind, just let them, trust the process, follow the plan.
I had to believe that.
Yeah.
Because I did not like how I looked. Even in the mornings and the lighting in the Airbnb, I just didn't like it. And I was in my head a lot. Mm-hmm. So I told Stan, I don't even want to see them. And he didn't even let me. I think you guys started your own chat.
He literally, that was his idea. And it was great because you were starting to get in your head a bit. And I was like, this is really hard because I know what I see and I know it's not bad, but convincing you of that, I could tell you all day. And then I literally saw a message from just him with your photos. I was like, this is perfect. And he told me I'm not going to let her see him.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really cool because we're definitely in flow together on what we're seeing. So I'm like, we're agreeing. And I knew between the two of us that you were just going to let us guide you. And I think we just all felt a big thing of comfort. So it was fun because me and Stan were talking, and then I would go back into the group feed a little bit and talk to her. But it was, like I said, it was fun. We should probably just post the messages because it was fun. I was like, I've coached for many years, and I said, this is great because one, the communication between me and Stan works. We agree on a lot, and it was just a really awesome experience.
And also it's easy, like once you're, as a competitor, you have to do all these things, you have to get there, and lose track of the time for you, who's a completely different time zone.
Yeah.
And having to keep you updated to so you can manage your sleep, or know when to wake up, when to look at your phone so you can see the next update and be on top of it for the following updates, feedbacks, or whatever
Yeah.
adjustments.
Yeah, I know it's probably annoying, but I kept posting your guys' time in the feed, so I was like kind of trying to put myself in your guys' time zone essentially, which I kind of swung my sleep schedule a little bit to make it happen. But I'm ready to do it again, but hopefully next time in the pro
Yes, in
league.
the pro league, for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
But I loved my look on stage. You know, I truly loved it. I felt good about it. There's not one thing that I think was off except my tan. You know, that
Yep.
was the only thing. But it was done the day of. And I remember in check-ins, I even asked like Angie, I'm like, did you get your tan? Like, do you know? Because do we get our tan today? And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, let me ask. So I'm asking different people and they're like, okay, we get our tan tomorrow. And I'm
Yeah.
like, interesting. I've never had my tan done the same day as show. So to me, this was a very new experience, but now it's a learning experience because now I know if it's done the same day, I don't really absorb it as well. So do an extra quote.
Well, I think there's more than that. I think the tan over there overall was not great. Like, I think they probably let the product sit, get warm and cold, and it was kind of greenish a little bit.
Okay.
She also got it on like pretty late, like I think around 12 or so when the show started around that time. And when she actually, she left for tanning, and I was waiting. I was not with her at that point, so I was trying to keep you up to date. But like, you were gone for at least a good hour.
Yes, because
And-
I kept having to go back and wait because every competitor there is trying to get a tan.
Yeah, yeah.
Female competitor at least, and it was a whole bunch, and they only had 2 tan stations. I was so shocked. There was only 2 tents.
Wow.
So there was, at least when I got in line, 6 girls in front of me waiting to get sprayed. And then after that, you need to dry, and they only had 3 of these little fans, these circle fans, and then a hose fan that you were like hosing to
Okay.
dry yourself. And after that, I would have to wait in line again for my second coat and do that process. And that was, like you said, an hour long to do.
Pretty quick
Easily, yeah. And then when you
turnaround.
came out, you were freezing.
I was
She was
so
like,
cold.
really shaking from cold. And
Yeah.
this is not good. She's burning glycogen. She's not good. You need to be relaxed and at a certain temperature to look your best.
Yeah.
But I made sure she recovered. But
He
then,
covered me up in like a jacket
Yeah.
and had
Yeah.
me on the floor and blankets. to
and
warm
then
me
by the
up.
time the stand started developing, I was like, it's not enough. And then it was getting too close to stage, and I was like, I don't want to get for freezing again. So we had to make the choice to be like, that's it. Everybody's looking kind of like light anyway. So
Yeah.
gotta go with this.
Sometimes when everyone's light, you can kind of bank on like, I look like everyone else. But, it's funny because, like I'm sure you've experienced, liquid sun rays really gets dark over time, where protein gets a little darker over time. So different tans kind of do different things. And doing it the same day, I always feel like no matter what tan it is, if I do that night coat, it's a little bit darker the next day. And then the second coat just always goes on a little bit better with more dry time. So you've definitely had your share of experiences with cold venues now.
Yes.
Legends was freezing.
Yes.
Was Japan colder?
I want to say that it was colder backstage, and that's why in the venue, like in the lobby, that's where all the competitors were because it was warmer.
Yeah.
It was, strange, but backstage it was so cold.
That's wild. So back to the show, you won your class,
Yes.
which is awesome. You had other competitors in your class, which was
Yes.
great.
Yes.
Once in a lifetime experience.
Absolutely.
I think a class win, a pro qualifier, is no short feat at all. So that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But you kind of left Japan with like the biggest prize. Let's talk about that.
So unexpected, very unexpected. We were going to this botanical garden, and it wasn't even a big tourist attraction, botanical garden. It's more of a local botanical garden.
Yeah, because Japanese culture, I don't know who follows anime and stuff. I'm a big fan growing up watching Dragon Ball and all that. So I'm, a little bit aware of the culture over there, and like the cherry blossom, the sakura, it's a big tradition, and they just start blossoming at the end of the winter. So there was actually a festival in that park that, to celebrate the first few ones.
Yeah, the first blossom, and Stan was mentioning that it means like enduring love or any?
It's a symbol of love, that endurance, challenges and still strive.
That's cool.
Yes.
That's romantic. That's awesome.
So romantic and so unexpected. And he did propose, and it was just the most amazing proposal. Like the words that he said were just.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yes, we're engaged. I'm so excited. 3 years. Today is actually our 3-year anniversary. So today is the 3-year mark for us.
That's a record for her.
Yeah. I was so excited to see that. I've gotten to witness your guys' love over the past 2 years now. Is that not crazy? And I've known you guys that long, and you guys have went through a lot of change in the past year. You guys have, I think, if anything, it has brought you guys together, and it's so cool to see, Stan step up as a father, and it's just so cool. You're really in your element, and I feel it. Your love for Easton was recognized by me right away. Literally the first time I saw you and Easton together, and him asking about having the cookie, and Stan's like, I want to give him the cookie, and Emily's like, not yet. And I was like, he loves this kid, and I was like, it's so amazing to see you guys, grow and prosper together. I was,
that was the absolute best part of the trip, obviously.
Yeah.
But I loved every part of that trip. I really think we needed that as a couple, just me and him traveling and experiencing different things and getting out of our comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy we were able to do that. Because the show was on Saturday, and I was like, we could have left on Sunday, but I was like, no, I want to stay a little bit. If we're going to go to Japan, let's, enjoy it a little bit more, the culture and stuff. So we stayed until Tuesday night, and I'm so happy that we did, because we did a lot in those 3 days.
We got a seminar in.
Yeah, he even did a bodybuilding seminar. So that was just amazing to watch, and I'm over here learning too. I'm like, oh, that is a great point.
Yeah.
So.
Let's talk about that, because, if people didn't know, the NPC-IPB is a worldwide federation, and the most respected. Let's go ahead and start there. But what was it like going to Japan, being an IFBB pro, a pretty popular NPC amateur athlete? You guys had fans who, are probably super excited to see you. When will they ever see Stanimal in Japan again, right? So
soon, hopefully. I want to go back. I loved it.
Might do the Japan Pro at the end of the year, but definitely we'll go ahead.
Soon, yes. So first and foremost, before going to Japan, reached out to a lot of amateurs who were also competing. What gym would you recommend? Any tips? Anything I should know? And the reason I reached out is because I've seen bodybuilders reached out to Stan. They would say, hey, I'm going to Vegas. What gym should I go to? This and that. And I just think that's a great camaraderie in this sport of bodybuilding, is reaching out. So already going to Japan, there was already people that I was excited to meet, because I've been talking to them. They've been helpful in telling me about the gyms, the show, and, seeing each other there and rooting for each other. So going to the show, I was already so surprised by how many wonderful people I was able to meet and take pictures with and share the stage with. Stan, I think him just being in this sport for so long, he didn't need to reach out to people.
Right, yeah.
But people just knew who he was, and he had the seminar, and we're going up to him and just asking him about things, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't really like to say fans. I don't know. It's just more I like supporters, but personally.
Yeah.
And definitely felt a lot of support in Japan. Right when we arrived, we had a guy that became a close friend now, Shin, who took hours of his day. He took time off his work to come and pick us up at the airport. He lives 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
He rented the car just to pick us up and drop us up at the airport at the Airbnb.
So cool.
Just that in itself is pretty amazing, but that's just the start of how much he's done for us this whole trip. And everybody was just so welcoming, and like even during at the seminar I showed up and everybody's bringing gifts, and I'm like, wow, like what am I gonna do with all this? Like it's just a different culture, and I really enjoyed it, and it was
so cool.
absolutely amazing.
And that makes me want to compete overseas again. Just meeting the different people, reaching out, and sharing the stage with other competitors. That's the best part about competing, is learning and networking, meeting and other people and seeing their experience, why they chose to compete. And I think this federation has brought a lot of people together. I don't want to say it can, because it has. It really has brought a lot of people together.
But that's why I love bodybuilding, because we are like connecting through a lifestyle. So we show, we can really relate to each other. And that's one thing I don't understand when people like talk down about fit model. It's like, this is bodybuilding too. Just because you have different goals, this is people who have the same lifestyle, similar goals as you. Like, why don't you respect that? Why don't you support it? That's something that just blows my mind personally. But
Same.
Personally, like I started with men's physique because I was afraid. I didn't want to. I was not afraid, but I didn't want to get on stage with like a posing trunk. I thought that was a little too much.
Yeah.
And fit model is kind of trying to do that. They want to cover a little more, so you feel more comfortable getting on stage the first time. And then as you get more comfortable, you shorten up the shorts. Expose a little more and.
And also, so I think this will feed, fit model competitors that maybe outgrow the division into bikini, and then bikini into figure wellness and so forth. So I'm really glad you're standing up for the division, because as am I, and I just want to see better divisions. And not that the divisions aren't great, but I truly believe fit model will start pushing competitors into other divisions that they belong in, and we're going to find those people with the top tier genetics that should be bikini, and maybe we keep some of the women a little bit more feminine and return to that. And not a lot of people are talking about that, but that's like my hope with this.
Yeah, because it's definitely a place where anabolics won't help. And if they do, it's very short term until they start, playing against you, or you're going to outgrow the division. So I don't think it gives you a competitive advantage in that division particularly.
Yeah, especially if you look at how certain compounds harden you up a little bit more than others. I think it's going to be very minimal use, if even. And I'm hoping that they really just keep the standard, divided from fit model to bikini.
And the main argument against it, people talking about money grab, is welcome to our world. This is capitalism. Everything is driven by money. So if it works, if it brings eyes, if it brings money, work is here to stay. And if not, it's going to disappear. And that's how things evolve and change. And there's nothing wrong about that.
Yeah, pro sports are a business at the end of the day. There's a lot of non-for-profit organizations that still people get paid and make money, and that's kind of what makes the world go round.
Exactly.
So then you were able to get feedback from judges you've met before, judges you've never met before, and Stan was there for the feedback as well.
So Stan got the first-hand feedback. I'll let him touch on that, because I just got my feedback from Stan.
Okay, perfect.
So before the show, Tamer approached me and said he had to talk to me and Ryan. Apparently he saw some controversy online, he heard at least, and so he wanted to make things clear that he was going to judge what was in front of him and just pick the best winner, and hopefully it will be clear and easy for him, but he will just do pick what he thinks is best. And I was like, that's what's expected from you, so I appreciate it, but thank you. And after he gave the pro card to the winner, he came right next to me and sat down and started talking to me, and he told me, I don't want to paraphrase him or like misspeak, but what he told me, if I remember completely correctly, it was something like, I can see what you see, I would like you to see what I see. I can see that your partner over there, she's definitely more gifted, and she would definitely beat Angie in the pro league. But today, Angie was a little more polished. So he told me that she was more polished. her presentation was slightly better, that her legs were a little tighter, but that he said that was really like little details, and that in the future he could totally see Emily beating her with her genetics.
Nice. And to my understanding, it was a 1-point victory, so it was very close again.
Yeah.
So, and I agree. I think that, you're really new to this division, as is she, and she maybe has even technically competed longer than you. I'm not really sure. But at the end of the day, I think that it's interesting because I think that you have a lot of strengths, and then it's just us kind of fine tuning the.
Yeah, that's the best thing about competing is like, oh, that's not the last opportunity or the last moment. And I truly see things as blessings in disguise sometimes. And that wasn't meant for me that day, and that's completely fine. I still had an amazing experience, an amazing trip, an amazing outcome from that show. And now doing the Jay Cutler and the Pittsburgh, I get to continue doing what I love, which is the sport. I don't now have to wait a whole year to step on the pro and see how it's going to be. I still now get to continue, get different feedback, get different eyes, continue on with this division, something that I love to do, to step on stage, to perfect my posing, the craft, and to practice peaking again a few times, to really nail it down. So that way it's just a 6-month break, if that, before the next the first pro show, with Fit Model. So there is no rush for this pro card, because I know in my heart, I feel it's coming. This isn't just a one and done kind of thing. We can continue being resilient in this sport, which is what it's about, and move on from that. I mean, the feedback, if anything, just told me to be a little bit more mindful on my whole presentation, my tan, makeup, hair.
Smile.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing I noticed personally. I felt she was losing her smile on stage. I don't know if it was, the tension of the moment, but and I didn't want to be yelling, "Oh, smile," and have her push her fake smile. But
for me, side note, smiling sometimes for a long period of time, especially on show day, it hurts. Okay, and I have really bad TMJ, like very extreme TMJ. So I sometimes just have to tell myself relax my muscles, because if not, it tenses up and it locks. But now I'm like, okay, I need to save my muscles on my face
smile
for the stage.
The stage. And this is great because, this has been an amazing journey for me as a coach, because this is the first new I've gotten to have in a while. And like for us, we get the opportunity to just share more with you guys and, teach you more about the Fit Model division, first person, in real time, and, really educate you guys, because I think that, we're really shaping you for the division together. I still think that you're a perfect fit for it, pro card or not, and I really can't wait to go into these next 2 shows and also promote the fact that you're a drug-free athlete in Pittsburgh. How cool is that?
Yes, hopefully get that first pro card and drug-free Fit Model.
It's still a first.
Yes, it's still a first.
First in the U.S.
First in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. There's plenty of firsts in this Fit Model thing. Even the following few years, I think there's going to be a few of them. So it's exciting to see this evolve and where it's going to go, because it's still just the beginning.
Yes. Well, I love this experience with you guys, and thank you guys for taking the time out of your busy schedules. I know Stan has a pretty big training and recovery regimen, eating schedule, you as well, but I really appreciate your guys' time to come and educate on the experience, and thank you guys for your teamwork over the last couple weeks.
Absolutely.
It's been fun. I'm looking forward to more.
Yes, and thank you. You've really went above and beyond as a coach, so we really appreciate everything.
Absolutely.
thank you everyone who's supported, who came out to watch the show, who's been supporting me, you know, through online as well. And to my beautiful angel bikini competitions, thank you guys so much. I loved my bikini look and I can't wait to show the next ones in these stage in a few weeks. And also now, glam competition jewelry. I cannot wait to share all of this glam in a few weeks as well.
And thank you guys for watching the See You Later Leaner YouTube channel. If you want to watch more of these episodes, go to our Fit Models series and you'll see more of me and Emily together. And thank you for watching.
Yes, and also I have a fit model journey on YouTube as well. This is more behind the scenes, more vlog from my experience, from my eyes. The whole Japan trip is vlogged from waking up to falling asleep. So I welcome you guys to come and be a part of this journey with me and my fiance, Stan.
And to help the algorithm, make sure you please like, subscribe, comment, and if you want to see more of this, make sure you support the channel. Thank you.